Strap in, folks. This is going to be a fun one. So, I'm pretty sure everyone at this point has heard about the situation that happened at VidCon. And the reason I have waited so long to talk about it is because I have tried to be patient. I have tried to wait for all the facts and every source to get out their side and to gather up all the information and look at it from as objective a standpoint as I possibly can. I lost my mind doing that. Every time I gave someone, some party, some benefit of the doubt, they came back worse than I could have imagined. This is in some ways scaring me because this seems to be trying to set a precedent that doing just this will be considered harassment. And I have seen over the years that these things eventually become law. Now, for those of you who aren't up to speed, let me give you a quick little rundown. At VidCon, there was a panel which Anita Sarkeesian was a part of. So a bunch of YouTubers that would be classified as anti-feminist or the skeptics or whatever the fuck they are called, because so many different people call them so many different things, they wanted to go there to listen to her talk. There are recordings of this everywhere. They don't say a peep. They don't do anything. They are just sitting there. I've looked at this multiple videos from multiple angles from the start up to the point when this happens. They ain't doing jack shit but existing. So Anita Sarkeesian saw the people that were there, and I will grant that they were in the front row, so that could be seen as something. Their justification for that is if they were in a further back row, or if they were hidden in the middle or at the very back, that could be seen as, oh, well, they're trying to hide and blend in, so that could be even worse. Which, given this, is fair justification, I would say. And I have heard everything from they were in the entire first row to they were in 2 rows to 3 rows. I don't know anymore because I don't know everyone that was in the group. I don't follow every single person who has ever existed on YouTube. But I will even grant that there were probably just a chunk of them, all like 4 seats each in the first 3 rows. That's probably how it happened, so that they could be easily seen and weren't looking like they were trying to hide. And I'm not making excuses for them, by the way. This is, to me, what sounds logical, what would be rational to do. If you were going to be accused of being there to stalk someone, you would want to make your presence visible rather than hide, so that you could not then be accused of stalking someone, because you were so plainly in sight. So, the panel had gone on for about 5-10 minutes, and Anita Sarkeesian noticed the people in the audience. And she singled out Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin. And she sort of wove that into what she was saying about how she has to deal with, quote, shitheads like him on the internet. And that he himself is a garbage human. On a panel, in the middle of a panel, she singles out a member of the audience who has done nothing, who has said nothing, who is just sitting there. That's when shit starts going crazy. So this event happens. Videos get spread everywhere. The internet's in an uproar about it from both sides. So Sargon, being the shitlord that he is, decides, I'm going to play your game. I'm going to do all the victim stuff in this. I'm going to say, woe is me, I've been harassed, help me, this person should be reprimanded for doing this. Which, that one, to be fair, yeah, if you're on a panel and you lose your cool and go after an audience member, you should be reprimanded for that. But he was playing the typical victim thing to try and reverse the roles and show the double standard with people like this. And, oh boy, he got exactly what he wanted. People that are normally anti-bullying and pro-victim and in defense of the victim regardless, etc., they were quick to jump and say how Sargon was a horrible human being, how he deserved exactly what he got, he should have gotten worse, etc. Double standards, they're fun. And then everyone... So, again, I waited. I waited for information to come out. I waited to hear from everyone. What I was particularly waiting for was VidCon. But they came out really late. And I'm going to get to that soon. So, first, Anita wrote up a thing about her harassment. And that is the word I'm using because that is the word that has been referred to with this incident. This incident has been referred to as harassment by everyone, everywhere. Harassment. Sitting in an audience, doing nothing. Harassment. Are you fucking out of your mind? Congratulations, folks at home watching this. You are harassing me. What the ever-loving fuck? And again, I will emphasize, this is the part that scares me. Because things like this, things like man-spreading, for example, they have become law in a lot of places. So the fact that this is the idea they're running with, that doing just this is harassment, I am afraid that this will eventually become law. You can tell me I'm out of my mind for thinking that. Look at US laws, Canadian laws, European laws. Things are happening right now that would have been considered insane just 2 years ago. Canada, they booted a guy out for, I'm not even joking, importing hate speech. Scotland, a YouTuber by the name of Count Dankula is on trial, though I should say is being fucked with because they keep resetting his trial date every fucking time he's supposed to go. He's on trial for anti-Semitism and being a Nazi because he made a joke video where he turned his girlfriend's pug into a Nazi. And the video fucking starts by him saying, I am going to turn this into the least cute, the absolute worst thing I can think of. A Nazi. I don't know how to rationalize that in my head. That saying Nazis are bad is now anti-Semitism. In the UK, a person was arrested for, I believe it was referred to as Islamophobic hate speech on Facebook. What did he say? Well, they kind of won't tell us what he said. So we just have to take them at their word. In, I believe it was Germany, 37 or thereabouts people were arrested for basically the same thing. Hate speech on Facebook. Don't fucking tell me that, oh, well, I'm just exaggerating, sitting and just watching someone will never be considered harassment legally. Don't fucking tell me that, because things are happening in the here and now that would have been considered insane just 2 years ago. So back to everyone talking about this now. Sarkeesian was the first to put up information about this, her side of it. She starts by saying, and I'm quoting, by the way, I'm quoting verbatim, their presence was plainly not, as one of them later said in an apology video he posted to Twitter, to give us the chance we never gave them and to hear us out, but was instead to intimidate me and put me on edge. You know what that's called? That's called paranoia. To most people, that would be seen as a person being a paranoid nutjob. That someone sitting in an audience was there specifically to attack them. If I see someone I know and I don't like drive by while I'm out, I don't automatically assume they're there for me. I just assume, oh, well, that's a weird coincidence that they're here when I'm here. That happens. That's life. Granted, though, I have heard some people say, well, this was a passive-aggressive act on their part. I could maybe understand that. I would be willing to throw the bone that this could be seen as passive-aggressive and that this was just short of real-life trolling. Harassment is a whole different kettle of fish. There is no chance on any earth you could get me to believe that just sitting in the audience is harassment, short of you having a restraining order on someone and them being there, which is illegal in the first place. She then, later on, goes on to say, again, quoting verbatim, being a target of cybermob harassment is a traumatizing experience, though harassers seek to deny this. One tactic of theirs is to dismiss this very idea, to say that everyone online is treated the same. Everyone online gets called names sometimes. They do. They fucking do. I don't know how to explain this to you other than to say they do, and yeah, this happens. Especially the bigger you are, the more popular you are, the more detractors you will have, because people just love to hate shit. This happens with every fucking celebrity. Everyone who has any sort of following. That's how the world works. I don't like it, but it is. Hell, just playing video games in multiplayer will have the same thing happen to you. You could be random Joe Nobody. I'm random Joe Nobody, and just yesterday I got a message, and I will have a link to it, where someone said, because I just talked about Shadman, that I am Satan and a child murderer. Just because I talked about the Shadman incident a couple of videos ago. I'm a child murderer. Oh, well, saying people get called names online isn't the same thing. Are you kidding me? This happens with every fucking buddy. I am literally nothing, and it happens to me. What do you expect? And then the last bit, and this is where I feel it kind of jumped the shark, as if it didn't already. Quoting once more, when you have a history of harassing someone for years, and you show up in the front row at their panel with a camera and an entourage, first I would like to mention that everyone had cameras. It's these things called smartphones. They have a camera feature. They are not against the rules. At least they weren't. I'll get to that in a few minutes. So using that as a means of intimidation is downright lunacy. Because you're saying, oh, well, everyone is trying to follow me and record me then. Because everyone fucking has these. And entourage, a group of friends, is not a roving gang. And I know that's how you mean the term entourage. You're just saying it in a slightly less mean way, but I from the rest of this article, I have the strange feeling you mean a roving gang of harassers. That is not an act of good faith, to put it mildly. That is itself an act of harassment and intimidation. Having a camera. Going around to a place with friends. That is an act of intimidation and harassment. I don't know how you survive in the real world. I honestly don't. I've seen thin-skinned people, but this is ridiculous. That just having a camera, having a group of friends, sitting down, doing nothing, is harassment. I don't know I don't know what to say to that. I really don't. So, I could have said something at that point, because that was utterly ridiculous. But it didn't. I waited for VidCon's official response to this. And it was everything I had assumed it would be as a worst case, but it's even worse than that. Because part of me had assumed that they would have at least talked to her and told her that what she did was wrong, and they kinda did, but not really. It goes on for a long time, basically saying, without naming him, that Sargon was at fault for all of this, for just existing. And then it gets to two of my favorite parts. The first part being sort of a bullet point thing. And once more, I'm going to quote everything verbatim, but I'm going to have a link down to it as well. Our founder, Hank Green, talked with our panelists and said two things. One, he told her that her comment had violated our policy, but that he understood that there was a broader context which, to be clear, we were blissfully ignorant of until this weekend and remain inexpert in. No, you don't say, VidCon. You don't know shit about what you're talking about. I never would have believed it. You're making excuses for the person who broke your own fucking rules. Are you fucking out of your mind? But wait, it gets better. 2. Hank Green, the founder of VidCon, apologized to her, Anita Sarkeesian, the person who broke VidCon's rules. He apologized to her for not having been more aware of and active in understanding the situation before the event, which resulted in her being subjected to a hostile environment that she had not signed up for. A person on a panel, in the middle of the fucking panel, breaks the convention's rules and the founder of the convention apologizes to the panelist breaking the rules. What topsy-turvy, what upside-down loony land have we descended into? I don't get how this is reality. I had to read that several times because I couldn't believe it. I thought I was misinterpreting something. I have never seen anything so stupid until I went a couple paragraphs down. Quoting verbatim, and I'll be quoting the whole thing here. This is a difficult situation to build policy to alleviate, but we ask that all of the people involved consider the power of our actions and statements, both online and in the real world. But one specific note, if people attend VidCon to collect footage to later use in videos that criticize not just ideas, but focus the outrage of their followers on individuals, they will not be welcome back. There's two parts to that thing. The first is, I somehow knew they were going to try and find a way to ban Sargon for him getting insulted and called a garbage human. I knew that was probably going to happen. I just didn't know how they were going to do it. This, to me, screams how. Because he didn't himself record anything, but other people recorded it and showed how she, an individual, attacked him, another individual. So he will probably be banned for that. The second part of that, and this is what scares me in regards to VidCon themselves and other conventions that will try this bullshit. You're basically saying, if you record one of our panelists breaking our rules, we will ban you to protect the panelist and or ourselves. I can't believe that they would actually put something like that in there. That recording something like this, someone breaking the rules, will get you banned. That's beautiful. Another reason I waited so long to make this video is I wanted to see if Hank Green would respond to this. Because people have been asking for clarification of this particular part non-stop. He's been active on Twitter. I will show a screenshot that his most recent tweet, as of the time of recording of this video, is just under 3 hours old. So he is still active. He's still around. He's still talking. But he is intentionally refusing to clarify this. And it's not for lack of people asking. People have asked him in the hundreds about this part in particular. So the fact that he's staying hush-hush about this is showing me that it is exactly as I am describing it. But wait, it gets better. Because these people cannot stop opening their mouths. In the day that I gave for anyone to clarify anything, an article from Polygon came out detailing Anita Sarkeesian's horrible harassment at VidCon. Oh, the tragedy. In which she says, and again, I'm quoting here, "No YouTube creator who makes videos that serve to target and harass individuals should be allowed to attend, And anyone who uses material filmed at a convention to harass individuals should be blacklisted from future events. So this seems like it is confirming what VidCon is going with, that anyone who makes a recording of, let's say, a panelist breaking the convention's rules and uses that as evidence, they themselves will be banned rather than the panelists. I've never seen such a large conglomeration of stupid all in one. I mean, even in VidCon's own response, what they basically say to justify all of this is that, and that broader context thing, by the way, that was all basically them waffling around and going, well, YouTube creators are accountable for their audiences. The founders of VidCon are YouTubers. YouTubers are saying that YouTubers are responsible for the actions of their audiences. Short of a YouTuber actively saying, go here, get them, no, they're not. Because there's this little thing called free will. People have free will. You cannot control people. At least not yet. And these YouTubers say all the fucking time, do not go here. Do not harass them. Do not talk about them. Do not go into their comment sections. Do not talk to them on Twitter. Do not do any fucking thing. It would be as if people were saying, well, the CNN talked about this person, so I must now go and attack them. And CNN is at fault for me attacking them. No one says that, but for some reason, that's the excuse that's used with YouTubers to demonize them. I cannot figure out why this is happening, why everyone is doing all this, why everyone is jumping through these hoops to destroy their own business, even to defend this woman. I've thought about it long and hard, and I can't figure it out. I can't figure out if this is a purely ideological thing, and they just want to turn a blind eye and only see Anita and people like her as good and anyone that disagrees with her as bad. I can't figure out if this is a thing where these people think that women are purely good and nothing that they have ever done in history could be considered bad. I don't know if this is Anita or people in close association with her have some sort of information or influence over these people. I don't know if it's just something as simple as, well, the media really likes Anita, so the places like VidCon, they have to defend her, otherwise the media will go after them, and they don't want the bad publicity. I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out. I cannot understand why so many places, so many people are jumping through so many hoops to the point of YouTubers saying that YouTubers are responsible for their audiences, and that recording someone breaking a convention's rules will get you banned, not the person breaking the rules. It's maddening. It really is. I don't know what else to say about it. This has been insanity, watching all of this. It's probably going to get even worse in the meantime. By the way, just as a little clarification, Hank Green did not speak to Sargon. I'm pretty sure he has no intention of speaking to Sargon. That hasn't happened yet. I'll still give confidence or throw a bone that at some point he might. I don't know what to think anymore. And again, I will emphasize, if you don't think that something like this will become reality, that will become law, I want to live in your world because it is so much better. My generation is starting to come into power. In a few years' time, my generation will be old enough to run for political office. You can say right now, oh, well, none of the people like this would run. They don't have the ability. They don't have the backbone, etc. You'd be amazed. People like this scare me. The fact that laws have been made around ideas and people like this scare me. This is not a future I am looking forward to, and it needs to fucking stop. This is so far out extreme that even a pessimist like me couldn't have seen it coming. I had assumed bad, but this is just nuts. I'm hoping this is where it ends, and I've caught it at the very tail end. Something tells me it's going to get a bit more fun, haha, in the next couple weeks, but I pray this is the last you will ever hear of it. I don't want to see this shit show anymore. Please, God, make it stop. This has been Math Machine, losing his goddamn mind for half a fucking hour. Shoot me now.